Go. All right. Welcome. If you're just joining us, you just reached the beginning. We are setting up right now, so give us about 5 minutes and we'll be ready to go. What I'm gonna do is, I just got the YouTube stream set up, so this is for JJ as well as for the audience that just joined us. Right now, I've got to post the links. I've got to post the links everywhere, but my computer's over here, so you won't see me for a minute. All right. Actually, JJ, I think we should do the whole live stream like this. I just cooked some burgers. We could just eat and.
Man, it's noon in America. You're already eating burgers.
There we go. All right. So I've got 4 more places to set this up, and then we'll be good to go here. Again, if you're just joining us, this is Ken. I am the empty space on the right. I am posting our live stream all across the internet before we start. We're going to answer your questions on YouTube, so be sure to join the YouTube live stream and ask questions. We're going to, oh, speaking of which, I am going to send you the link as well, JJ. Boom. Let's put this on Pro Tricks. There's so many groups. Like, that's one thing. It's like there's so many groups to post to now.
Yes, indeed.
Maybe, should we put it in Pioneers as well?
Yeah, Pioneers. Maybe, you know, maybe Indonesian group, but I think it's nighttime there. Like, yeah, nighttime.
Well, if you know any others. So I don't have an easy way to do this. This is to my YouTube people too. I don't have an easy way to massively post while I'm live streaming this particular one. So you guys have to kind of bear with us as we're finishing this up here. I've got 2 more places to post. I gotta post on the flowtricks.net website, which has every single video that I've ever posted categorized, and then putting on the Patreon, and then we are ready to go. If you are joining us on the YouTube channel, make sure to ask lots of questions. This is especially to JJ. You see me all the time, so definitely get your questions out to JJ. This is the time to pick his brain.
Yeah, shoot.
I'm gonna go on Patreon. Gotta log into these things. Normally this is stuff we could do in the background, but since we're zooming it, I don't have an easy way to hide the video while we're setting up. So you guys just be patient for a few more minutes here. And one last post, and then we are good to go. Video. My website's freezing. What's going on? Maybe I'll just, oh, there we go, Okay. Also, just to let you know too, JJ, this whole stream will be saved. So
Okay.
It'll stream on YouTube. Boom. All right. I'm gonna bring up the YouTube channel to see what chats we have going on, and we're gonna get started.
All right. Sounds about nice.
Awkward silence. There we go. I'm gonna bring up the chat window as well here. Make sure.
Oh yeah, so I cannot see the chat window yet, but that's because you didn't activate it. Yes, yet. Oh yeah, I can see. Maybe here.
Yeah. So the chat window is that little small window to the right. It says, and I'm gonna actually bring this up to a pop-out chat. We don't have a way to put it on the Zoom screen just because for you guys that have joined us, we're doing it a little bit differently. As you can see, we're doing a Zoom meeting. So we had to I had to set it up prior. So you guys had to watch the setup, which took a few minutes. But again, this is the live stream with me and JJ. Definitely get your questions in for JJ for the next hour. He is He's all here, man. Like you saw the video. It's pretty sick. I'm going to give a couple shout outs here. Let's give a couple shout outs to, well, let's see here. We have Sippers. He's the very first poster that says hello. And then Matpuli says hello. Flowchucks, which is Anthony, says hello. That's awesome. Matpuli asks, can you give me a tip to make my spinning ability more?
More.
What do you think, JJ?
Tip to make what? My spinning ability more?
Yes.
So
I'm assuming he's trying to say, like, how can he make his spinning ability more? How about just like a general tip for how you approach your spinning and how you make your spinning on another level? Like what goes in your mind, or what do you think about when you're trying to make a trick or a flow?
Oh, yeah. Well, to make a trick better, well, you see, I have, I'm someone who easily goes to the lab, as I call it. So, I'm not the kind of person who likes, who is like, all right, I have now some time to spin nunchucks, and I go just flow around and see what happens. I'm more like, when I'm focused on a trick, I always think about how do I get this trick to a next level. So, and in my opinion, there are like, there are some ways that you can make a trick more better, or, more exclusive maybe. So one example is what I call an NCC. So an NCC for me is a non-conventional catch. Maybe that's something, that word is fallen here before, maybe in the chat, I don't know. So yeah, what is an NCC? For example, you do just a basic aerial and then you catch it. So when you throw it, when you elevate the aerial, well, it doesn't take much spinner to know that you're just gonna catch it. But you can also just let it pass and just catch it under your leg, for example. That's a way for me to, yeah, that's maybe like an easy one. Another one for me is like to add a body spin. So if I'm like, I don't know, this trick exists. So I watch a trick and I'm like, whoa, that's dope. Then I think it's always up to me when I go record it, not to really copy it, but to add maybe a body spin into it. So you can add a body spin, you can add an CC, or you can just add a little bit more flair. Yeah, I can make an example, maybe. Yeah,
please. Yeah.
I don't know how many people are watching yet, so I don't know if this is really useful yet.
I'm starting to see some questions come in. Yeah.
The basic aerial, then you can also just, let it pass, catch it up. That's just a simple one. You can, or you can do like both. That's maybe a little bit tricky.
With your ceiling, yeah.
Wow. So yeah.
Oh,
that was tricky.
Sick.
Yeah, but yeah, well, it's sick, and that's another thing. That's maybe the third thing I want to add to it. You can make it harder by doing NCC. You make it harder by doing a body spin, but also you can do it make it harder by going faster and keep it more low. So you often see like this example. Like the double. I call it pizza aerial. It's actually just a horizontal aerial. This one. So like, oh, a little bit too far off. And this is a cool trick. But when you ask me, how can I make it harder? I think you should do it like this. Just
yes, it looks tighter.
A little lower. Yeah, I maybe want to end this question with a last one. Add a finger spin, and maybe that's easy to say coming from me. But let's say this one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there are always possibilities, but yeah, just go to the lab, take a piece of paper, and write them down so you can remember the next time you want to improve a certain trick.
So I just want to make sure I understand. The NCC is a non-conventional catch, which, as you guys can see, he took a standard throw and he made it exciting by simply adding one or two little factors, but when they combine together, they look pretty awesome. I won't say they're simple. They're because catching under the leg does take a little bit of practice, but man, once you get it down, that definitely makes it look different than the in the pack.
It looks that's the whole point. It's just it looks like when you see it at the front, it's like look from the side. There's nothing. The aerial stays right here, so it's just a matter of going down and just popping your hand or like this. So there's nothing,
So
you know.
I have a question for you personally, because I don't usually do under the leg catches. So this is kind of a new one, which I think is awesome for my audience. But usually when I catch, I chase the chuck. So my hand kind of follows the chuck up and down, but you can't do that with your hand so low. Do you know what I'm saying? Usually my hand is chasing, it's rising and lowering with the chuck. How do you do it under the leg with accuracy?
Well, for under the leg, you know, like you say, you cannot just, you know, do it that way. But I think it's because, you know, at a certain level, you can almost, when someone does an under the leg catch, it's like, okay, you made the trick harder, but by making it really harder, and here comes the thing that I think is a little bit, yeah, a little bit the same like you do with your hands, is to wait till the last moment to just snap it and take it almost when it almost passed the zone that your hands can catch it. Wait for that moment and then just
awesome.
Just dug in and catch it. So don't make it. You see, you can do it like this. I'm gonna over-exaggerate it right now, of course. So that's boring. You know, you can also do like this. Like, you know, it's yeah, it's a little bit more flair that you add into this trick.
That little pop makes a huge difference. Yeah, I've
Well,
done
I'm
it on
already
my
out of
channel a
breath.
little bit too.
It's a little bit hot in here.
I
I'm
think
totally not following the comments right now.
I like that's how jugglers do it too. Like when I've met jugglers, when they get a pattern down, the very next thing they do is either try to optimize it or they're like, how can I make this harder? And it just keeps going and going until they have this crazy routine.
Yes, indeed. Well, you know, I can maybe show another one, or let's go to another question. I don't know what seems more.
Yeah, we can go to another question. Did you want to read them off or say hello to the?
Yeah, that's yeah, because yeah, I quite know a lot of chuckers, but I might not know their nicknames.
Yeah, no problem.
I can see that Flowchucks.
Well, how about I
Indigo, and I think I know who that is. I think that's Bjorn. You know? Yeah, he's such a cool guy.
Oh, Flowchucks is in. Sorry, sorry about that. Sorry about that, Indigo. There's I thought Anthony. That's my bad.
No, because you know Flowchucks. If that's Indigo, if I say that right, you know, he's from Belgium as well. So I trained with him like 3 or 4 times. Yeah, he's really cool, and he's like, you know, I'm the old guy who takes the paper and writes everything down. But he's like, you know, I don't need that. He just goes and plays. He's just like really, totally like freestyle in essence. You know, the flow part. That's what I really like about him. He's really technical, very good. Yeah. So, hi, man.
Yeah, welcome. I'm glad you could join us. That's great. Actually, it was Indigo that kind of planted the idea for bringing you in the first place, as well as starting off these monthly instructors. I think it's a fantastic move.
Yeah, he told me. Yeah.
So we've got okay. I've got one from Wahoo Cobra. What are your favorite go-to moves? A question for both Ken and JJ. This is a good common question. What's favorite go-to move, or what's one of your favorite moves?
Favorite moves in general. Well, yeah, my favorite move is like, you know, a very classic one. It's like a horizontal temporal, but then performed not really with a zero gravity as I call it, but right in between. So when you slice it from your right hip to your left shoulder, it's actually, it's not really hard, but I think it's a really show-off trick. And in the end, I think show-off tricks is still what drives me actually to do. Yeah, I will show it. It's stupid to tell. Actually,
No,
so,
I
like,
agree.
you know,
Some of
this one, like
favorites, but
you know.
Simple, yeah.
You can't say a bad thing about the trick.
No, especially when you can express it. I guess one of my favorite tricks is I like infinite X's. I don't know. I find them to be really satisfying. So when you're grabbing a chuck and you're rotating it through, so all these kinds of motions here.
Yeah.
That's a lot of tricks, but mainly it's just a variation of the X catch that keeps it going infinitely. I really like this just because it feels like you're doing two hand rolls, like two front to back hand rolls and a back to front simultaneously at the same time, but you can just keep it going in a nice flow. Again, like you said, it's not the most difficult trick, but it feels good. I like the way it feels.
Yeah. Plus, now most people that are viewing here are just have quite a lot of experience, especially also with those kind of tricks. But you know, I can still remember when I knew nothing about nunchucks and I saw these kind of tricks. It was always like, yeah, what the hell is going on? And I remember that still today. So you just never forget when you do tricks and you're never satisfied about your work. How does it look to someone who doesn't know a thing about nunchucks? And
no, absolutely.
I mean, it's really underestimated. Yeah, we always compare. Don't say we do. We always compare. Especially, maybe I have to talk for myself here because I'm more into the sports part. But just it's the same when someone shows you like a Billa song video, you know, with the knife. It's like, damn, that's totally dope. And then someone else that is also an experienced, player says like, but that's easy, you know. And that's the thing we easily forget when you're on a more advanced level or when you're more into learning more new tricks. That we forget how the base of tricks can be just, so dope that we just forget how they look.
Agreed. I agree. Don't you feel like your favorite moves change too? Like I know it depends on the week. Will depend on what my favorite move is at that time. So, you know, right now it's the Infinite X, but last week it was stalls. So,
yeah. It depends because when I was busy with preparing the video for the FNF competition, how I work, I always work in like I pick a combo to record and I choose 3 what I call hardcore tricks. I just call them that way. It doesn't have to be really a hardcore trick. And then I just connect them. And then I'm always like, the next thing I'm gonna do, and that's what keeps me motivated actually, is always my new best trick. So when you say it depends, it totally depends.
Yeah, it really does vary.
So Wahoo Cobra, if that was your question, I think you got what you asked. I mean, it doesn't always have to be, just remember that. It doesn't always have to be the most high-end trick, just can be the most, trick you would always show if people show nunchucks. That's the one I would show.
Yeah, and my last recommendation too is just think of the tricks you loved before you saw spinning. They're usually really simple ones, but those are going to be the ones that other people will also love. So
totally.
Now, as we go down the line here, I just want to give a shout out to Outerish and Ali for this is really interesting, by the way. We're getting a lot of new people because we changed the time, like you were talking about. We're getting all the people from the other side of the world that's able to watch it. Because usually I usually do this more like 7 p.m., 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So we're about 8 hours earlier.
Yeah, and then it's good morning to Asia, to all the Indonesian people from the Philippines, a lot of people checking there. And then it's nighttime in Europe, so Russia the same. So yeah, it can be totally be a new kind of people here.
There we go. Sorry, I think we might be having a little bit of connection issues. Give me just a second here. It says my connection is unstable. Oh, I think we're back. That's good. Sorry, what did you say? We lost you for a minute.
No, I was just confirming what you said about these new kind of people that maybe join in now, because when you're at 7 and 8 p.m. at American time, well, Russia is asleep. It's early, very early morning in Indonesia, Philippines, a lot of chuckers there. And yeah, for Europe, it's like 2, 3 a.m. in the morning. So can't see who's awake. But I can see someone. I can see someone from India here, Ken.
Whatever you say. Because
so yeah,
that's the second time it bot talk.
Yes, it's night there.
You sounded. I wonder if you guys can hear me. Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Sorry, you cut out really badly again, and it was kind of cool because your voice sounded kind of like a robot, so it was like this mission. Let me make sure. Let me double check the connection here too. Make sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. I wasn't trying to laugh. I was really not laughing at you. I was just laughing because of this transfer. I was not prepared to hear it turn into like robotic sounding. It was funny.
Well,
okay. So
yeah.
What's that?
No, yeah. Well, I saw someone from India join in, but I think, yeah, well, normally in India, it's really also nighttime. So right now, yeah, those people can join as well. So it's cool to have them. I think it's a big group yet to discover.
I feel like
the
it's
old
great to have. Yeah, it's great variety. Like we're getting all new people now, which is fantastic. So I'm glad you chose this time.
Yeah, I'm seeing.
We can shout out to Ali
from. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you can. You
I
go.
think there's
I'm sorry.
a little delay on our,
This is. There is from the video lag that we're having, so we're kind of talking at the same time, but we're probably not actually. There's a bit of lag is all.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm going through the chats. Yeah. So I see. Yeah. I see Flowchucks here. So that's Bjorn. So yeah, he asked me a really good question. I think it's really a one that is maybe typical for me. So he's like, yeah, what's your schedule? 1 hour daily, this move, then every 2 days. How does your week look like? Yeah, well, I don't know how that is with other people who learn nunchucks. But for me, I did these 15 to 20 minutes like every day. So yeah, people who know me well, they know that I'm fighting against, it's not really fighting, but there's an illness that won't go away. It has to do with fatigue. It has to do with concentration. So I have to be really, efficient with how I train. So for me, 20 minutes a day was something that really worked out. It was 20 minutes a day that I could really look forward to. And, in the end, it just paid off. I mean, it's like, the muscle memory that was built throughout these 20 minutes. So I was like, I see a trick here, I see a trick there. Then I choose which trick I think it's the most cool. And then I just did that for a week or 2 weeks. And yeah, I kept on managing to get the tricks done. So that's how I really built up. And, I think what works for me can work for others as well. So I would rather prefer, even when I would have more energy, to train 20 minutes a day than like weekly 2 times 1 hour. I think, yeah, I don't know. I don't have experience with that, but I can only say that when you train 20 minutes a day and you just choose your trick set to learn that week, I think it really can pay off. So yeah, 20 minutes a day. I think if you cannot do it, let's say if you take a trick that's really hard, maybe next level for you, and you do it like 20 minutes a day for 20 days and you cannot get it done, I think you probably will not get it done. I mean, but the opposite is true as well. What is 20 days to learn a new trick? It's not much, but if you can do it that way, I think that you're more capable of than you actually realize. So you got to trust in that process as well, I think.
Bravo. Heck yeah, man. That's awesome. And, for everyone to think about that too, that he trains 20 minutes a day. You've seen the videos. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen the promo video that we did a couple videos before. That's 20 minutes a day. So consistency, I preach it too. I feel like consistency is more of a key than these big, small training sessions, but they're long. I feel like you can get more done if you just do it every day, like brushing your teeth.
Yeah. Well, I wish I could train more. I mean, I'm really the reason why I'm still in it, because I could say, man, I really cannot do this, so I want to put my energy and time in other stuff. But I'm really ambitious, so it's the only way for me to let this work, considering the circumstances. So, but still, in the end, it's still a good way to, don't get tired of doing it, literally and figuratively. So, yeah, 20 minutes a day, just try it. 20 days, 20 minutes a day. And just build up a trick set. I mean, if that really doesn't work out, you can really come to me, because, yeah, I think that should be suitable for most people. Yeah.
I think it's admirable that you don't let it stop you, that you don't let it defeat you, because I know there's a lot of people out there that may also I know I've had quite a few people that say, you know, I've just turned 30. Am I too old to learn nunchucks? Or there's always something where they think that it may stop them from learning, but you don't let it stop you, right?
Yeah, well, it's totally true what you say. But on the other hand, let's say if I really was not, how do you say that? If my genes didn't allow me to learn these tricks, because it's everybody is good at something, so maybe this just was a little bit like meant to be, or fits the things I'm good at. But if it didn't work out, yeah, I would have passed out also at nunchuck. So yeah, I think there's a good way for everyone to learn it at their own pace. But yeah, I would say, but that's not. Let's say that some tricks don't work out. Then I would really say, if you're really into getting better at nunchucks, doesn't mean you have to be able to do all tricks. Just when if someone would come to me, Ken, and says like, make me a better chucker, then I would send them 5 videos. So I'll do 5 tricks, and then I would say, all right, train these all 20 minutes a day for 2 weeks. Then record them and come back to me and think, what do you think of yourself you're the best at? And let's say 2 of those 5 tricks will stand out. Then we'll work on that one. I mean, I did competition nunchucks, not much, because yeah, it was just not suitable. Yeah, with combination with my illness. But then I was always thinking like, why should I do tricks that my competitors are the best at? So it's almost the same. Take them away. Just focus on your strong suits, and that's a way how you can really gain a lot of high-end tricks in training the same time you would otherwise. But is it fun to be so efficient? Yeah, maybe not. But I think you also should serve yourself if you're 30, like when you're 40. Now you're 40 and you're still a vivid person, but others might not. They have a bad knee, they're fatigued, they're like their kids are growing old. Make sure that when you're still young, that you at least do it for half a year, that you just focus on delivering the best video you can make. And that's exactly what I did the last half year by making that video for the FNF competition. That's something in 10 years, in 20 years, also now, I would say this is my masterwork. I mean, I know it sounds a little bit dramatical, but just think about it. For me, it just worked that way.
No, it's great. I mean, you set a goal and you accomplished it, and you won the championship too. So, that's awesome.
Yeah, the winning is maybe just it's a contest in the end, but it's like when the video was done, the contest, the results came later, but it was all about that video, about being proud of yourself, getting the best out of it.
Exactly. Regardless if you won or lost, you still got all those skills from it. So, and that's something you keep forever.
Yeah, I hope so. Yes.
Well, not technically forever, I suppose. We're not going to get that dark though.
Well, Ken, I think our connection is back.
Said, how do I make my techniques prettier when spinning? I feel like that's kind of a similar question as before. It's right below Phoenix.
Oh, yes, I see. Yeah, well, how do I make my techniques prettier? Well,
yeah, how do you do it?
To be a little bit apart from the first question, because Cyprus,
similar, right?
Or how do I say that? The earlier question was, how do I become a little bit better at what I already can do, or how do I spin better? If you say like making my techniques prettier, like if you mean by that make them cleaner, I think there's no other way than repetition. There are no really like shortcuts into that, I think. And just record yourself. Don't be shy. You don't have to share it with anyone. Just record yourself. That's something that one of my mentors, Renato Monte, maybe you know him. It's the Brazilian. He's a 2012 world champ.
One of my favorites.
He was always telling to me, record. He always said that, like, take your phone. Doesn't matter what you're doing, what you're wearing. Record it. And when you're in the sofa, so I spent a lot of hours in my bed as well. Then you can see it over and over. Don't watch other people. Watch yourself. Watch yourself and be critical. And then while being so critical for yourself, but also your brain is really, I mean, I'm not a scientist, but I think your brain is also adjusting. They see the foot a little bit off. They see the leg not totally stretched, and you all take it with you when you're next time at your training court, even if it's for 20 minutes, you will remember that. So record yourself. That's the way to make it prettier. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's good. I don't know if you've heard of this before or not, but something I might recommend if you haven't seen it before is if you have an iPhone, something that I've used to record myself is BAM video delay. Or if you have an Android, you can just get a video delay. So basically what a video delay is it's almost like you're watching yourself, but 10 seconds 10 seconds in the past. So you do a trick, you stop, and it'll show you instant feedback. So you don't have to stop it and play it. You can instantly keep training, stop, watch, see, make your corrections, do it again, because there's like that, you can set the delay for a long time. But I found that to be really helpful with in general.
Yeah, I haven't heard of it, but yeah, it sounds
delay.
like the next thing I must have. Yeah, yeah, that's nice. That's cool. No, I haven't heard about it. Yeah. Oh man, we're learning here.
Yeah. No, I'm glad I could offer something, and that's for everyone too, for that matter. If it's just live feedback, so you don't have to hit stop and find that section and hit play, you see it immediately, within 10 seconds.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah, that was a good experience. Oh, I also wanted to shout out really quick my son for a second. What's up, Seth? His birthday is very soon, by the way. So that's pretty awesome. We're talking like a couple weeks. He's going to be 19. Let's see. Roberto's beast mode.
Yeah, well, yeah. I hope for everybody who's just checking in right now, I'm a little bit out of breath because I I felt the urge to show a little, to get really on topic on the first question we had. But yeah, people can't watch this again and again. So
yes, absolutely they can.
I see a question here of Oda Weber. She's yeah. Let me take a minute to tell you something about it. She's she only started like last year, and she wasn't having anything with martial arts or nunchucks, but she was just picking them up. We all once started somehow. We all have this story how we started. But she I get to talk to her via one of the groups. I think it was Nunchaku Pioneers group. And then she was really like, she's showing some interest in what I was doing. And yeah, she also motivated me a lot. But then we also, I have few people that I follow up from close by, to train a little. And she was one of them. And yeah, it's all the things I just explained about those 20 minutes, skipping some of the basics, but just going into the stuff that you feel like you're really good at, that you feel like you're really taking these things up. And she did it. And after it was only 6 months, she joined the first round of the GCT, so the Golden Combat Tournament, so the tournament that I host for those who missed the introduction. Yeah, and she ended 48 of 214 people. She was only nunchucking for half a year. I mean, imagine then at half a year, I was doing hand rolls, and I was thinking about should I send a video to Ken Hill to show my hand roll? That was happening in my life at 6 months. But she's the living proof. Of course, she's super talented, but she's the living proof that if you apply that strategy from start on and skip a lot of basics, but just go head on into more high-end tricks, it's all possible.
I'm going to agree with you on this too. That's how I started as well, by the way. I had some advanced tricks in the first few months of chucking, but I still couldn't do a hand roll with my left hand, just with my right, I agree. That's how I started too. And I gave my left hand different tricks than my right. So I have different sets of moves. So when I pass it, I have a different skill set with my left than I did with my right for the longest time. Yeah.
I think we should take a minute to talk about that. That's really something I wanted to say as well. If you ask me, what can I bring to the table? Learn a few tricks with your left hand and make your left hand master of 5 tricks. I mean, when you're doing doubles, I'm mostly a double player. Learn them 5 tricks, and every 20 minutes that you train, if you use the 20 minutes, just do them. I have, for example, one of the tricks I do is the horizontal area. It's a typical trick. I do it with right as well. It's a trick I do with left. So this one as well. So what I call the front aerial, I always do with left. So what you get eventually when you add a basic aerial and another spin, that you get this. So, I don't have much light here, but you see?
Yes.
For example, catch it under your. I mean, these tricks, these are basic, but when I know when this would be a dish, the ingredients are very simple, but the seasoning is the speed, of course. I mean, you need to have a certain speed. But just saying, it's all quite simple. If you learn your left hand a certain trick set, for example, the classic thumb roll, I do that with my left hand mostly. So yeah, for example, I'm just busy doing doubles and then I just pass that in as well. So yeah, so that you can do something with your left hand.
I really like, by the way, what you said about ingredients and seasoning. That's a really good way to talk about chucks, because a lot of people are focusing on the ingredients, but they don't season it, Yeah,
I mean, another example, just interrupt me when I'm too busy.
Go for it.
This is the basic aerial. Everybody can do it. I mean, if you're watching this video still right now, that's something you can do. This is what I call a Bruce Lee pause. Just pause it. You can add another spin. It's simple. So, but you can also do like this. So you're busy doing figure eight rolls and then, voila. So it's, it's just two simple tricks, and it already shows a little bit different. So something you really have to think about. Just consider it for a minute. With all the tricks you already can do, how you can build, just double tricks that actually look like pretty cool.
Yes.
You're not that far
please.
away. You're not. The gap isn't that big. The gap isn't that big.
JJ, can I ask you, have you ever considered doing like private Zoom lessons as well? I do private Zoom lessons. I was just wondering if you are also interested, like if we had people on YouTube channel that were interested in getting lessons from you, would they be able to get some?
Well, the reason why I didn't do it is actually the really obvious reason. I have many times, but it's really my illness. I really have to. That's why I even the last 2-3 years, when I already was at a quite advanced level, I just stopped for 4 or 6 months because I couldn't chuck myself. I didn't have energy to put into it. So when you ask me, do you have energy for other people as well? It's
right.
Yeah, it's just That's really the downside about it. I can focus on myself and achieving stuff I can focus to, but to have energy as well left to do, household tasks and both putting energy in other people, I would really love to. I mean, I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this conversation and, spreading the word out about some advices. But I think I just, in the long run, I just couldn't keep up with it. Although it would be like 4 or 5 people, it would, I'm just easily drained out of energy, and that's a sad story, I know, but it is what it is. So I have to really focus in my daily life as well to what I want to achieve. So
one thing I can say though is even when we're just talking, you're giving like really good advice. Like you're still helping people regardless. So I think either way, like it's awesome. We're glad to have you here. I know a lot of people on YouTube have seen me for a long time, so it's really nice to get some fresh talent and just someone that comes in from a different angle. You're doing moves that they definitely haven't seen before from me, so I'm excited to have you aboard. That's for sure.
Shout out to yourself. I mean, all right. Let's maybe go into the chats again.
I see one from, I think it's Poizilla. Does it make sense to practice with different chain lengths? Is it better to practice all lengths or stick with one? Gotcha.
Yeah, sorry, I'm eating.
Oh, no worries.
Well, of course, very good question. It's the question I answer the most. I think I sometimes go to the hashtag nunchucks on Instagram. Mm-hmm. And not to say, hey, I like your video and check out mine, but just to see like, how can I help? I mean, like help people that, I would have appreciated someone who told me like, you need to have the proper rope size. Yeah, I'm a rope spinner. So to come to this question, I think it can help, but make sure you're already probably doing it wrong the first 6 months you start spinning chucks. Because what do you buy? You buy from eBay, or you buy from a certain sports seller online. And I don't know if it's still like this at this point, but 5 years ago when I started, you get this 300 grams. I say grams, so like almost, you know, a pound. It's really like a heavy nunchuck with a long rope or a long chain. So it's actually, it's really, the best length, and you probably said that before, or in general, is like, you know, the back of your hand. So if you can have the length of the back of your hand, you would normally, when you do hand rolls or, you know, just, yeah, hand rolls, it would always fit, you know, perfectly into the positive, negative grip. And that's the change you make there. But let's say for finger rolls, I use like 1.5 centimeter less. So I think that also has to do with, you know, not really how big your fingers are, but the way you just, you know, create a certain roll, where you do like, yeah, that's really, I'm going technical now, where you do like this, or where you do like with the extra spin, you know, yeah, people who do finger rolls will understand. So I think, and I'm not here to make a certain promotion, or I'm not here, I'm not a salesman, but that's why I always use, you know, I don't know if you see it, I use always like these nunchucks where you can, you know, you pull this back, and then you just pop it out, the rope, you snap it out, and then you lay another knot in it at the length you prefer. So if you ask me, you can never be too late by buying chucks where you can, whether it's the chain or the rope, where you can adjust that and just try out. But if you have a chain and you do mostly hand rolls and it's like 14, 15 centimeters, just know that your hand always has to adjust. And if your hand has to adjust, your brain has to adjust as well. Now that's a very good thing. That's a very good thing that you're learning at that moment, because if you manage to deal with that, that means probably that you're quite capable to learn other tricks quite more easy. But for most people who are maybe not that skilled in that kind of stuff, yeah, they rather could be quitting at a certain point, because they stay at the same level. So it's really something you should know before you start, but who's going to tell you? Yeah, us right now. But I mean, I think that's very important to know. So you can train at different lengths, but to start, I think you really should need a length that is quite close to the back of your hands, for certain.
Absolutely. I agree too. I definitely agree. We've seen some people like Sam Spinstorm. Do you know him? Spinstorm Wrigley. He has these super long ones, and he'll do finger rolls for days. He'll just like,
Yeah.
But it's definitely a lot harder. Like the learning curve's a lot harder, and hand rolls are so much tougher when the chain is longer than your hand width.
But yeah, you probably also know Tony De Jong. Tony Du Jong, yeah, he's from Vietnam. He's a Vietnamese guy. He has this team it calls Ken Club. Yeah, you probably know him. He posts a lot, especially I think also in the Flow Tricks group. And even today he posted like a video, but he's of course an expert, where he shows with, it's like almost 16 centimeter rope, and then a very small one, and he performs exactly the same tricks. So yeah,
that's awesome.
A little bit, yeah, it's awesome, but it's of course a lot of misleading, because for 95% of all people, maybe, yeah, I can consider myself into these 95 people, it just won't work out. You also, yeah, I mean, it takes about 3 to 20 days, I think it's an estimation, to adjust onto new length or new weight or new material. So yeah, I would not really recommend to switch every day to see what works out, but I would give it certainly a bit of time to, yeah. Same goes for the weight. We can talk an hour about this. The weight, it's different for everyone, but there's a certain, I think, let's say 150 grams and a 12 centimeter size rope. I think that should almost work for everyone.
Have you pretty much stayed with that type of chuck for yourself, or have you experimented? Like, have you tried? What is your specs, anyways? I'm just curious. What kind of?
Well, yeah, I always chuck with WNA chucks, so they're like 140 grams and they're 34 centimeters long, which is quite long. And for the rope length, I had 10 centimeter. Now I still have 10 centimeter, but yeah, I had a corona infection in October, and it was not really bad. But what happened to me is that my muscles became really fatigued really, really fast. So it was like when I have to change the light bulb is what, when you have to operate, it was like, 10 seconds and it was all like sour and so I decided to switch in the most lightweighted chucks I could find. And so now I'm chucking with 90 grams. These are 90 grams and also 28. 28 centimeters, and the rope is 9 to 10 centimeters depending on which tricks I'm going to perform. But the best thing about these chucks, so as I said before, I can change the rope length. So let's say if I want to do a total different trick set concerning, these really Chinese finger thumb rolls, and what works as well, I always use this golden tape, so it's a little bit of my signature. But it's not only show, because it's 9 grams each time I do a tape around it. So now it's 2 tapes because my muscles are getting better. So now I added it by 18 grams. And it can all sound like, oh man, I'm going to shut this YouTube live stream off. You just think about it. I mean, I think everyone deserves the best specs they can have, and it can change over time, but you can never be too late with focusing on it. Because if you watched me and you think, that's really cool, I want to be like that, these things all matter. I'm not a god. I mean, I really focused a lot on everything to become, or to deliver certain tricks like that. So it all mattered for me. For certain.
Definitely see the intensity in your training and the way that you talk about your training. You can just see like how you've come to be where you are. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah,
let's see. You. Oh, wow, yeah. Mileman says, keep up the awesome work, Ken, and JJ. And sorry, I just want to see here. I'm just gonna go to questions here. Brant asks, do you do anything to mentally prepare yourself to get creative when you get into a play or flow state?
Well, wait, I'm gonna search for that one. Yeah. Do you do anything to mentally prepare yourself to get creative when you get into the play or flow state? Well, I have to disappoint you, Brant, a little bit. I don't really go much into the flow state unless I'm on a certain domain of tricks where I'm kind of new. But how do I mentally prepare myself? I don't really count on being mentally prepared. So that's why, and I already told it earlier, but I cannot express this enough. Like, these are the things I make here. So, I don't know if you can see it. It's paperwork with circles. Yeah. When I prepare myself for the last competition, and I will come to the mental part, I make, so I have 2 pieces of paper, and then I make these corners. So I make corners, so I make an X or something on my paper, and here goes the strikes. Here come the intermediate tricks, here come the high-end tricks, and here come the way how I will, glue them together. So I just don't count on being always creative and mentally, fit to do this. So I write a lot of things down, and sometimes I'm just half an hour in my couch just watching these things that are written there, and then suddenly it just pops up. So I'm not really going the flow state, and then I'm like, oh, I can catch it here as well. It really comes from a certain theoretically, so it's a little bit, and that's also a bit of the strength I take from that, so that I don't really feel like I should be out there choking for hours, which I cannot. But I know also by watching at my own notes, I know that some good stuff can come out. I think like a writer who's writing a creative content for a certain book, I think if he has it all listed down, some new things can pop up, and I feel for me it's a little bit the same when I create new combos. So except if I'm awesome, at a certain domain where I'm not just like for example, to show a little bit chucking. So recently, not recently, but for my last video, I started to connect with the 2-in-1s, as I call it. Gabriel Ford is a real master at it. So for example, when you go like this, and then you snap it here, so you have a 2-in-1, and then you go like, throw it up, and then catch them like that. So that was new for me. So that's where I really had to go and play with it. So for example, like going like this and then catching it here. You see? Okay, that was a little sloppy, but you know what I mean. Just like it was totally new for me. Like, oh, snapping them together. I was like, will the rope collide, and so you cannot do that on paper, of course. That's something you really have to go practice. But yeah. It's if you ask me, in essence, it's all about watching a paper with my notes on it.
That's awesome. Back in the day, I never did written paper, but I used to do flashcards, and I would just pull out the cards with the techniques that I wanted to work on, or I'd randomly just throw out some cards and see if I could connect them together. Oh. Slightly different, but it's just interesting that we both had some sort of written written formula for how we approached our training.
Yeah, and it can be really from one people to another, just be different. Like Indigo, you know, Bjorn, the guy from Belgium where I trained with. Yeah, he's super awesome, but he was really like, when we were preparing for the Belgian champs, where he was going to compete, but eventually he did not. He was really like, and he said that to the sensei as well, I will not write anything down. The music starts playing and I will do my thing. And I was like, first off, man, this is crazy. But now, months later, I know it's just different. And I have such a huge respect for him just to, that he was really going to do it that way. So it's a matter of how you see things. What is your end goal? I mean, that's also important. Huh? What's your end goal in this?
No, I agree. Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's pretty cool hearing, like sharing notes here, training notes. That's awesome. If you go down a couple, there's a Brant asks, can you please touch up on how y'all add in martial arts strikes into flow and flow choreography?
Oh yeah, martial arts strikes. Yeah, well, yeah. When I did a live competition, I think it's a little bit, I think it's a part of the game. I think when how people call it circus stuff. I mean, I don't want to put a label on it.
Oh, can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, can you hear me again?
It's probably just because we're. Yeah, sorry about that. Our connection was stable. I think we're coming back. Okay, yeah. I think we're good now.
So yeah, adding martial arts strikes. Yeah, you see that of course a lot when you go to the XMA scene. The reason why I'm not really a fan of it is because although it's super, super hard to perform like that, is because it has a little bit too much of it. But I don't see reasons to, also keep it left out of your whole flow or your whole style in general. But yeah, so when I did, this live competition, of course, it's just a part of it. So you add them, but it's another reason why I don't put too much in it, because I think on the domains where I think I have my strong suit, I think, I can compete with almost everyone, but at doing these strikes and being agile in the way you make your stances, I don't really come to their heels. So that's something I would naturally avoid. So, but if the question is, how do you add them? I would say if you're not really that fast, and you're also, because I'm quite fast, but I'm not, of course, totally not as fast as the people who really focus on that. I would say just, give a little bit of your own style, of your own flair into it. So for example, when you, let's say, and I will hope you can still see me. So for example, when you do these blockbusters, where you do these fast L strikes with inner bounce, just try to do stuff like this. And then instead of striking, just, just put in a roll or something. And I know that's not the same, but just when you're on a domain you think it needs to be in your format you're going to bring, try to bring it a little bit of your own, so that you leave a mark that's not as, it was not as fast I would have expected it, but it's more like, you did something creative with it. So it's not really cheating, I think, but it's more like, putting a stamp in it, putting a sort of signature in everything that you do. For sure.
Absolutely. Makes you stand out. That's for sure. Oh, Perry has a good question. Where did you get those chucks? Where'd you get those from?
Hi, Perry Vollering. I think that's a Dutch-speaking person. Well, I get them. Yeah, that can be interesting because I get them from Nunchaku Connect. Nunchaku Connect. You probably all know Petit Patapon. It's Pascal Muller. The French girl who's went really viral the last months.
Quite viral, yeah.
Yeah, so she's I think she's the co-owner. So yeah, I don't know if it's really, I don't know, maybe you can find the chucks elsewhere as well, but I tried them, and since I'm a foam spinner, I don't see myself switching anytime soon. I think, but they have all kinds of stuff. I think it's nunchakuconnect.com. Pretty simple, if you Google it. I also
didn't know it was Petites. I didn't know she was involved in and selling chucks too. That's cool. Did not know that.
Yeah, but she doesn't really pushes it on her Instagram page. I think it's
Yeah,
quite
no,
wise.
I
don't think
didn't
you have to
know.
overdo that. Yeah.
Mm,
She's quite clever in those things. But she works with a few ambassadors, which I'm yeah, one of them. So yeah, or happen to be now. But I chose the chucks first, and then afterwards, yeah, you know how that goes. I mean, someone comes really honest to you, like, what do you spin, and is it really worth it to buy them? And yeah, what can you recommend? I think most honestly, the stuff that you're just using at that time. So that's how,
yes.
you know, the ball went rolling in. So Nunchaku Connect.
That's
Yes.
absolutely true. For me, the reason I use dark monks is because I'm a fire dancer. So like migrating to fire nunchucks, they're similar weights and they have that just works well. I mean, my whole style was built on fire dancing, to be honest. Like I wanted to turn it into something I could perform and make a part-time earning. So it's kind of interesting, but like chucks have like different styles, just like people do for certain things, you know, like it's kind of neat watching how everything kind of goes into its own, almost like a big puzzle.
Yeah. Well, maybe, yeah, you said earlier about if people can, you know, contact me for, you know, Zoom classes or just help. Let's say that everybody just that's watching right now, I mean, if you really have a question, let's agree on that. Just record your trick that you're bothered with or that doesn't work out, and, you know, send me just one time. I mean, you know, I'm not here to take away Ken Hill's job. That's totally not
Oh,
what I
no, yeah.
want. No, nothing that I could do either. I mean, it's just true like that. But just, you know, I think that's maybe something, you know, for being here, just being here with us, having this in the chats right now. Let's agree on that. So
Well,
if
you do
that
have
can
an
help you out,
Instagram
I'm happy as
though.
well. Yeah,
You have a pretty nice Instagram. I think everyone should be joining, by the way. Join
yeah,
JJ's Instagram.
yeah. It's a private account, so you should, yeah. If you want to follow me, I just, you know, let me know anyhow that you're the person who wants to follow me, because, you know, I'm pretty proud on what I achieved and this and that, just like everybody does. But I'm not really, you know, doesn't really interests me to, you know, get all viral and stuff. I mean, yeah, at a certain point maybe I am, but so just let me know if you want to be. I don't really have a really nice page, although thanks for saying that, because I don't really post much. So that's why also I was happy to be invited here to talk about a lot of stuff, because yeah, I don't really get a lot online at my personal page. So it's good we had a chat this way and could you know, reach some topics that I think are important to, you know, have my 2 cents in, how you Americans say that. So
And yeah, this has been good too. This is my very first almost interview, I should say, or at least co-hosting. So I'm really enjoying just hearing a totally different perspective, but also on the same path. I think this is a good direction for Flowtrix for sure.
yeah, totally. And it's, you know, these different influences, they all have one thing in common, and you just cannot get around the fact. And I also said it in my tutorials, I don't know if it was the first one, that we all started. I mean, if you're into nunchucks, like let's say from 8 till 8 years, if you have 8 years experience or so, you cannot get around the fact that we all watched somehow one of your most favorite videos that popped out when you went to YouTube and typed in Nunchaku. So it's actually, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that you were my biggest inspiration, let's say, in what I've become today. And that's maybe the reason why I'm also here right now as another influence. But nobody can say that they didn't start, or they didn't, you know, went further and further and further because they came in touch with you. So I think that's the beauty of it, that it also, that it just, you know, it comes back. I mean, I'm just a little bit nervous as well, just talking to you while, you know, it's just like that. I think it's
No,
it's
and I
something very special
appreciate that.
and unique.
What people that don't like, people, especially when you're at your level, what I think a lot of people don't realize is I always wanted to be the bridge. I didn't want to be the best. I wanted to be the one that gets the masses started. So like, I feel like the takeoff where people can be like a plane, that's what I wanted to be. And then part of, yeah, I mean, really it just goes on and on and on. But for me, it's like nunchucks is just one little part of my life for the things that I want to do with it. So yeah, I feel very happy. And I like the fact, you know, on my YouTube channel that I have people that are completely all inspired by me, but I really encourage you guys to start looking out to other people too, because I, I want to get you involved, and I definitely love like all the support I've been getting, but there's so many great people to also watch. Like JJ, do you have like any suggestions or recommendations for people that are some of your inspirations?
Well, yes, of course. Yeah. I mean, the people after I, went a little bit further and also said it in my intro, yeah, there are a few people. I think videos you just have to see, like Joris van den Berg. He's a multiple world champion. He's like in it from he was 8 years. Also, when you're into combat, he also took world titles there. It's really, you cannot miss him out. Joris van den Berg and Stefan Oberle. Yeah, those are the
Oh
really
yeah.
obvious people for me. You also have to see the videos of Renato Monte. Maybe he's the most versatile person I've ever seen with chucks. But then again, also if you're really in like, I also want to follow the current field, the competition field, then I would suggest maybe to go to the Golden Combo Tournament page or to the YouTube of Golden Combo Tournament. I have no intentions to go, have a lot of subscribers or so, but there I post the top 25 of all the qualification rounds and finals that have been there. So if you're like, I want to see how online competition players perform, they're all together in a compilation video, or just go to the FNF forum as well, the Freestyle Nunchaku forum. So yeah, there is something when I talk about people as Renato, Joris, and Stefan, they're from the past, but they're also super hard in the current. So those are the guys like, I wouldn't compare them to like people like LeBron James, but those are guys who go on for 20 years and they're just, unstoppable. They recreate themselves. They stay on the high level, something because of my illness also, but I would just not be able to do. But those people, yeah, I think if you do not know them, yeah, look them up for sure.
That's awesome. We're just about out of time. I think I just got one last question just for you, and that's so if someone were watching this video who was not a nunchaku spinner, but they watched this and they want to get interested in it, I think what would be your biggest piece of advice or a good piece of advice for them how to begin their journey of nunchuck spinning?
Well, it all depends on what your goal is. If your goal is to, have fun, I would say it also depends a little bit on if you have a history in props, hand-eye coordination and stuff. But let's say you start from nothing, from the bottom. Try to talk to people who you think you look up to. I know it takes a little bit of nerve and a little bit of balls to talk to people who you think are one of the best you've ever seen. Just try to get in touch with them and try to say or ask them what is important to have a kickoff. That's one. So it's about material, rope length, how do I train, but mostly about material. But the second one would be, and that's my suggestion, if you want to go fast in a short amount of time, I'm not talking about shortcuts because it's not a shortcut. Try to focus at what you're good at and try to build new tricks or combos with tricks you already learned. So, you can go, if you watch Ken Hill videos, for example, it's funny that I'm actually talking to you, you're going to learn 1,000 tricks. And at a certain point, but that's not your fault, you're going to know a lot of tricks, but none of them, you cannot really go to your next level because you put all your time in learning all the new tricks that you come up with. Yeah, it's so many. But I would say watch a lot of videos and pick the ones you think, I want to be like that, and then start building with that. There are tricks that are super simple, but you would never know that about me that I cannot do because I never show them. Just realize that I'm not an encyclopedia, I'm not Wikipedia. I'm not. Just know that. I know a lot of tricks and I can do them very fast, clean, and they look awesome, but I cannot do half as tricks that you can, that Ken Hill does. So just know that. Just don't make a mistake about that.
I can't even do the tricks that I do, so don't worry about it. This is kind of a funny thing, but sometimes people ask me to demonstrate a trick. But the thing is I was talking about, I don't. Some of the tricks I do, I'm not very good at, and I can't do anymore because I learned it to show that it's possible, and I hope that people can take it further. But then I stop working on it. So when they ask me to try it again, I'm like, oh, it's been years. I don't know if I can do this. So yeah.
It all depends. Yeah, it's just know that make sure, and it's not easy when you start to, yeah, where do you want to end up? Do you have a goal on short term? Yeah, and just try to imagine, how can I focus on that one? Just on that one. Just don't take, and that's something that can really disturb your fun. But yeah, just it's about that code fun. If you think about stopping, remember why you started. So I think that's a really good one to keep in mind. So but if you only want to have fun, I mean, try everything out. Just have a lot of fun time with your nunchucks.
Yeah.
But if you really say like, okay, I want to have this under my belt, like I want to be able, I'm a bow staff spinner, let's say, and I want to go into nunchucks. But those people, of course, have the experience. Just go for tricks that, are quite similar to the prop you already can do, and focus on the one you think that is really, that's really matches the most with your skills, and is the one who thinks, that's the one I need to have under my belt. So,
Man, I can't agree with you. Like, I
efficient,
agree
efficient.
so much. It'd be like if you're in high school and you were really bad at math, but you were really good at writing stories, and you focused on trying to get your math good instead of making your good story writing even better. Like, you're just fighting against yourself if you're not working on your strengths,
Yes, indeed, indeed. But you just gotta have fun as well. I mean, just take a little of them
Yeah.
both, and the road is gonna be a lot harder when you really are pushing yourself to the edge. But sometimes in the end, it's that road part that it's the most fun. That your goal is just it's the benefit and the logical end roads, or the end station of what you're trying to achieve, which is try to enjoy it, but also be proud of yourself and think about yourself. And that's what drives me in 10 years later. What do I want to see of myself on video? Like, if people say, you did nunchucks 10 years ago, yeah, but I'm now old and have a bad knee, what can you show them? I mean, for me, that's very important. So that you have something
A
really,
legacy.
yeah, that was me.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. Well, JJ, it's been an honor having you on this. It's been really fantastic. So thank you for joining us.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah.
And thank you, YouTube subscribers and channels. Like, we still have a lot of comments here, but we've run out of time, and I actually have a class coming up that I have to teach. So I think we're gonna cut out for this time. But keep in mind, we've got a few more. We've got a couple more videos that JJ is going to be releasing later this month. And also, don't forget that we have a Patreon, which is patreon.com/flowtricks. We do private lessons. We also, of course, we're going to have some of JJ's exclusive videos on there as well. So we've got some things to look forward to for sure. And with that said, JJ, thanks again for joining us. It's been a pleasure, man.
Yeah, sure. It's my pleasure. Yeah.
All right, y'all, you have a good one, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Ciao.